Happy Sunday, beautiful people in my phone. Welcome to Car Conversations, where we talk all things faith, freedom, football, etc. My name is Jocelyn Carr. What a day of college football yesterday was. If you don't like college football, what are you doing in your free time? Wow. Okay, where do I start? It's a beautiful day. First of all, the weather has been cooperating right now. You know, prayers to all of those who are still recovering from all of the storms that have come through from Helene to Milton. We've had a lot of sun here, and we're very grateful for the crisp coolness. Like, it's maybe 50 degrees right now to start the day, but the sun is shining brightly, so it is definitely moving toward fall. The leaves are falling and changing, and it's literally my favorite season. What's your favorite season of the year? Because this is mine. Come on, sweetie. Pedestrians always have the right of way. Remember that. I'm never in a hurry. Y'all know I'm in the ATL area, and people are bananas, always in a hurry to get to where they need to go. Child, I don't rush nowhere. Do you hear me? I am never in a hurry. Why? Because Jesus himself never ran to where he was going, and he was going raising people from the dead, right? But he walked. He did not run. He walked. He was purposeful in his walk, and he knew what his business was to do, his father's business, when he got to where he was going. But he never rushed anywhere, and still accomplished all that he set out to accomplish. And I'm a Christ follower, so I'm gonna pattern my life after his. That's your word this morning. Did not plan for that, but thank you, Holy Ghost, for that. Yeah, so I'm never in a hurry. And people honk, and I just wave them, like, go ahead, go around me, boo. Go around me, because you're not going to get me angry and out of my place of contentment and peace and undisturbedness. Undisturbedness. Yeah, I made up a word. So I just roll down my window and wave them on around me. Welcome to Car Conversations, where we talk all things faith, freedom, football, etc. Y'all, the lineup yesterday did not disappoint, and I am absolutely, utterly disgusted with myself that I just could not stay up to watch the second half of that Colorado Kansas State game last night. And I knew it would be a thriller down to the end. I caught the highlights this morning, but shout out to Shedeur Sanders. I keep saying this. And after yesterday, you know, my top for the Heisman, look at this private jet is taking off right now. Y'all can't see it, but I have a thing for airplanes. I really like airplanes, and I like to watch them take off and land. And that's a beautiful one right there. That's a beautiful one on this beautiful day, overlooking the mountains. Take it all in. Take it all in. God's creation is just extraordinary. It's extraordinary. But Shedeur Sanders, back to the topic at hand, the other topic at hand. Shedeur Sanders, that's a whole nother one. That looked like the exact same jet taking off. Pardon me. My little ADHD. Pardon me. Shedeur Sanders, y'all know to watch my videos anyway. Increase the playback speed to get through my videos. You know, do what you got to do to handle your business. Shedeur Sanders, he's in my top for the Heisman. He's in my top 3, I would definitely say, because what he did last night, and I only saw the first half, but watching the highlights of the second half, what he did without Travis Hunter, prayers up for him, and Horn, his top 2 receivers, what he did without them last night, while taking a beating And he's not a man of great girth, right? He's not a young man that's just built sturdy like a machine. He was getting sacked left and right. Now, some of that I understand was on him, but he was still threading that needle. He was still threading that needle and creating plays, and playmakers make plays. That's what playmakers do. Playmakers make plays, and Shedeur is literally the playmaker, one of the top. Well, he's the QB, so he's the captain, but he has several playmakers also on his team that he trusts, and you can tell that he trusts. There's the chemistry there, and he's gonna throw it up and thread it to where it needs to be, and his receiver knows you better be locked in and looking for this pass, to get it. So shout out to him. That game, Coach Prime, and what he has done with Colorado, again, I feel like I say that weekly, and I mean it. He's really turned that program around, to be a top contender. The atmosphere for that game, I mean, Eastern time, it was like a 10:15 kickoff, but the atmosphere for that game, the sideline was full of celebs. They had the black, didn't they have on black? They had on black, and they had on black, and then Eugene, Oregon, they did the whole blackout. I'm just loving what I'm seeing in college football across the landscape. This new generation, this new wave, this new this new era of the transfer portal has really helped even the playing field. And I keep saying that, and I'll say it week after week, but you're watching it. You're watching as teams who used to not have any football team, right? You're watching them elevate their game, and coaches, are elevating their games, but now that they have the star power that they need, or the talent that they need, and they're taking top tier programs, traditionally what have been top tier programs kind of on an island by themselves, they're taking them toe to toe, pound for pound. And you gotta love to see that for the competitive nature of the sport. It has really, 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 the transfer portal has really, really transformed the game in that magnitude. I'll say this. Okay, let me go back. So I got into Colorado and Kansas State. Great, obviously a great game, and Kansas State did what they needed to do to pull off that big win. And Coach Prime is close. He's close, in that league, in that division. He's really close to having the really big wins that I know he wants to have. So shout out to him for that. Let me start with my team. Roll Tide. Roll Tide. That was a noon kickoff. That was a noon kickoff, and I didn't know if I was going to make it to 3 o'clock. Like, I did not know, South Carolina is a much better team than what they used to be. Again, the level playing field. That QB1, I did not know his name, and I was thinking they were going to play, Robbie Ashford. I think he went in for at least 1 or 2 series, or plays. But Sellers maybe needs to work on his passing game a little. But that dude's fast. That dude is fast. And I just, I'm hanging in there with my team. It's a completely new era. It is the DeBoer era. It's a completely different coaching staff and style of coaching. Their new schemes, he's offensive minded. There's so much new for these young players, who many of the ones that were there under Coach Saban are literally having to, I can imagine, shift their entire mindset to now and adopt this new mentality as they are in the moment of every particular play. So I can imagine, let's say, a defensive player knowing what Coach Saban always barked, okay, with great authority and passion, what he barked in their ear, I can imagine that kind of replaying, but now you got Kane Womack and his style and his approach and his teaching, whispering on this side. I don't know if he whispers or if I don't know that, but I'm just saying. And in the moment, they got to they have to make the decisions. Now, of course, great players make those transitions very quickly. But here's what I know about that generation. What is that? Generation Alpha? Is this Gen Alpha? Whatever their generation is. You know what I'm saying. As an educator, I see what we're dealing with in these future generations. And I don't care how many times you tell these young people that this is what you need to do. These are the instructions. I don't care how many times you repeat yourself. I don't care how many times you practice it. Bless them. Bless them. When it comes to the moment, when it comes to the test, when it comes to the moment on the field, they just may not remember. They just may not remember the instruction. So we give grace. We do. We give grace. We give grace. So we are seeing that mentality that happens in the classroom. We're seeing that on the field in live and in 4K in the middle of a game where you probably have some sort of parlay or something on the line. I don't know what you do, but and we can't be mad at these young people because this is across the board for this young generation. Being able to remember and actually execute. We're seeing that across the board. You saw it with Ohio State. God bless that quarterback with Ohio State. I pray for him that he's okay today. Really. That's a tough loss that Ohio State had against Oregon in Oregon, where he just forgot. He obviously was not thinking about the clock. And not to say that he's not a good quarterback. And I've read many commentaries, on the fact, well, that's lack of coaching. No, what did I just say? As an educator and as a coach, I see it in that generation where they just don't necessarily remember. And in that moment, with that level of pressure on you, and they may struggle with anxiety, they're just not remembering. And you saw it when he slid, oh man, just to see his face when he realized it. I lift up that young man in the name of Jesus, because that was tough. Another great game. I didn't finish with Alabama, I'll circle back, but another great game was that Ohio State Oregon game. Outstanding game. Outstanding game. Outstanding game. I like Oregon. I like Dylan Gabriel. I mentioned Dylan Gabriel last year. Michael Penix was, of course, my first for the Heisman last year before Jaden Daniels started emerging like around this time of year. Maybe it was November, early November. I liked Dylan Gabriel last year. I still like him this year. He's one of my top also. He's one of my top for the Heisman. He is. He absolutely is. Big win for them. They'll probably see them again in the Big Ten Championship. They could potentially play them a third time in the playoffs, so we may look forward to seeing that battle again. The SEC is a gauntlet, though. What's happening in the SEC? Okay, back to Alabama and Carolina. Damani Jackson saving the game. Malachi Moore redeeming himself in leadership skills and qualities and character and intelligence, leadership intelligence, helping his teammate remember not to down that football in the end zone, because that would have been a safety, to run the ball out. That was, again, not that Damani Jackson never knew that, not that that wasn't coached. It's about remembering. So, the strategies that coaches have to use now, that educators have to use now to ensure that, our students, our players, our clients, whomever of that generation can remember. It's just continuous repetition. You know, it's just continuous repetition. So, yeah. I don't have anything else to really say about our game other than, you know, Jalen Milroe was not as consistent as he needs to be, and he took a lot of hits yesterday, and I think that affected his vision. And he did step up when he needed to step up, but our QB cannot continue, and he's built like a machine. He is. He's not built like a Shedeur Sanders. He is literally built like the Terminator, but even he cannot continue to take those kinds of hits. So our O-line, they played poorly yesterday. Defense played poorly, could not stop a third down to save their life. I told y'all last week that anybody worth their salt in a game of football was going to watch that Vandy film, and they will put some wrinkles of RPO, and I'll be dadgummit if Beamer didn't do that exact thing. We saw some exact plays that Vandy played against us and used against us that worked then, and they worked yesterday. So now that could be coaching. Now, again, they may not have practiced it enough in a week to turn that around. That little shuffle pass, though, we keep getting beat with that little shuffle pass, and I'm not going at the goal line, in the red zone. Unacceptable. We got to get that. We need to practice that multiple times every day if that's the case. Watch the film on it multiple times every day to get that repetition in. We have to do better. That's all I got on that. That's all I got on Alabama. It was too much other great football. Tennessee and Florida. I mean, Billy Napier, what he has done this season so far, he's literally saving his job. I know he is. At this particular point, midway through the season, I thought Florida was really going to beat Tennessee. The atmosphere was electric in Knoxville, as I'm sure it always is, especially moving into the evening hours. It was electric. But Tennessee won that game by the skin of their teeth. So our matchup with Tennessee next week, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. I'm glad, thank God, it's an afternoon kickoff. I think it's a 3:30 kickoff. That one is going to be a good one. Because Tennessee won barely, like we won barely. A win is a win in the SEC, though. A win is a win in the SEC. A win is a win in the SEC. You're glad you won it. So, yeah, that's that. Let's see. Who else do we have? Texas and Oklahoma in that Red River rivalry. Poor Oklahoma. Poor Brett Venables. Venerable. You know what I'm talking about. The quarterback at Oklahoma. No disrespect. Yeah. They started out like they were going to it was going to be strong, but then it was like 3 turnovers, like in a matter of, 12 minutes or something ridiculous. And all of a sudden, Texas was up 21-3. And yeah. But Oklahoma had given them ball. I don't know if it was picks, it was a fumble, something like that. I can't remember, y'all. All these games are running together. And then I'm watching them on the multi-view, and I really want, particularly with that LSU game, I should have just watched that game by itself. But it was other games going on at the same time, so I was trying to manage that. I'll say this as I wrap up Texas and Oklahoma. Texas is the number 1 team in the country. Texas and Georgia next week. Georgia better do something. Or Texas is gonna rout them. I sense that, and Sark is waiting for this. Trust and believe the offensive guru of Sark is gonna carve up that Georgia defense. Whoever the defensive coordinator is, when I know Kirby has a hand in it at Georgia, y'all better dial something up next week. You better get pressure through to yours. You better do something, because Sark has a game plan that he has held out for this game. Trust and believe. So I hope y'all have as well. Next week's football lineup is insane, and I'm here for it. And I don't know if that's a night game at Texas or not. Yeah. But Texas planted that flag in Norman at center field, and they put Baker Mayfield's jersey underneath the pole. And in the, y'all, that's too much. That's too much. That's too much. No. Are y'all kidding me? Like, and that leads me to the other part that I have about this next generation that we're seeing now. Ooh. I saw some footage of the what's his name? Kyron Lacy. And I don't like to call out players, but I saw some social media live footage of him after he caught that pass in OT against Ole Miss. You know, that's what LSU did to Ole Miss in Baton Rouge, which we all know strange things happen in Baton Rouge, especially at night. That was an electric environment. If you're not watching college football, especially at night, what are you doing with your free time? That was insane. Oh my gosh. Lord, please don't let us have to go to Baton Rouge at night. We go to Baton Rouge, but I don't know if it's going to be a 3:30 game or a night game. That was crazy. That was crazy. But I saw some footage in the locker room. It's just too much, y'all. It's too much. The intensity. I love the intensity. Maybe, am I getting old? I'm not getting old. I am getting older, but it's not even the fact that I'm older. It's the fact that I feel like where is the class? Where is the class? What happened to winning with class? What happened to acting like you've been there before? Everybody storming the field. How many people stormed the field in every game yesterday? I mean, celebrate. But let's celebrate with class, because it was disturbing, the footage that I saw. You've probably seen it. It was a little disturbing, and I don't like that. And then I look at Brian Kelly, and I look at Kalen DeBoer. I look at the coaches that Brian Kelly is always a mystery to me at how he coaches teams to win, because I just don't see it anywhere in his. I'm not in the locker room, I'm not in the film room, I'm not on the field, I'm not at practice, but his whole countenance, demeanor, even watching him on the sideline, you know, what I could see when watching in multi-view, you know, last night, when I see him and I saw those players in the locker room going live on there, it just don't match up. But however these coaches are able to coach this generation of student athletes in the midst of the portal, in the midst of NIL, they are earning their dollars. They are earning their dollars if you can successfully coach this group. Like the NFL is going, in 2 to 3 years, if not already, we're seeing it, but in 2 to 3 years, the NFL, the league is going to be insane. Like, I just, yeah. Okay. Who else did I not talk about? Tennessee, Florida, I mentioned that. What other games were there? That LSU game with Ole Miss, you know, I knew when they went to overtime, they weren't going to win. They weren't going to win. What are they going to do? What are the officials? What is the NCAA? What is college football? What are we going to do about these fake injuries that are happening? Because Coach Lane Kiffin they're notorious for it. They're notorious for stopping fast play by just telling a player to go down. It's several coaches in the SEC that are notorious for it. I think it's unethical. I think you cannot have a purity in your love for the sport if that's what you're coaching your players to do, is you just go down because you're scared you can't line up against a hurry-up offense. And that's a shame. That's a shame. I would like to see some sort of rule implemented. I don't know what it could be off the top of my head right now, but they need to implement something, some sort of penalty, some sort of infraction for players not going down, taking something away, like take some points away. No, I don't know. I just, they need to do something. And you saw Lane. And I've said this before, because to me, I see that as cheating. I see that as not wanting to play fair. And I've said it before, and you're not going to win like that. You're not going to win consistently like that. You're not going to win a championship like that. That kind of stuff always comes back to bite. Always. So LSU won that game. LSU never led in that game. LSU led when they threw that, when Nussmeier, who is growing up before our eyes, Nussmeier is another QB. Watch out for him. He's literally progressing this season right before our eyes, and he was already a good quarterback. But that walk-off TD in OT for the first play in OT for LSU, celebs all lined up, Shaq's down there, OBJ's down there, probably Justin Jefferson's down there, like on the sideline, like that. Lord, don't let our game against LSU be a night game. I can't even look that far ahead. We have one game at a time, and we have Tennessee in Knoxville this week, and that's what we're focused on. Listen, I've talked y'all to death this morning. It was so much great football. I know that I missed something that I wanted to say. I'm interested in seeing the adjustments that teams continue to make after wins and losses, but especially after close games. Vandy, that's what I wanted to say. Vandy is not the Vandy of decades past. I said it before we played them. I said it after we lost to them, and they beat Kentucky. That teams have got to find an answer for that quarterback. And good luck. Because Vandy has the confidence now, and it's oozing from their QB, the confidence. And they're not having a distraction problem, apparently, because they were all over the media. They were at Good Morning America. They were everywhere last week filming, talking about their win against us. And they beat a really good Kentucky, a sound Kentucky team yesterday. And they were in Lexington. Weren't they in Lexington? Yeah. The SEC, college football, you're starting to see that level playing field, which is what we want to see. We've been waiting to see, after our domination of so many years, we've been waiting to see this. So that's it. That's all. Yeah. Great football coming next week. My Cowboys have the Lions today. I'm sure there's some other big NFL games today. I haven't completely turned the page from all the electric college football from yesterday. But happy Sunday. Enjoy this beautiful day. Enjoy the weather. Enjoy some great football. Enjoy some fantastic food, family, and fellowship. Get your word in today. I love y'all. Y'all stay winning, and may your team win as long as they're not playing mine. Stay winning and stay free. Love y'all.